had a crew, and we got up very early one morning, and we were going to do some filming about the fishermen. Talk to the fishermen about what had gone on. It was January the 15th. So, it was 21 days after the wave. And so we were stood on the beach, kind of filming general views and also trying to speak to anybody that was down there. And then there were two boys that kind of wandered up towards us. One was a taller lad, a kind of teenage lad, from my recollection. And I was talking to somebody, and I felt a kind of tug on my trouser leg. And I kind of looked down, and I forget which one it was that was doing it, but they were pulling on my trouser leg. And I just kind of looked at these two boys, one of them very small, Martunis, and frail. And the other one, we never saw again. I think what he'd done was direct this little boy to some adults that he saw. And I kind of tried to speak to Martunis, and of course he was speaking in Indonesian. I didn't understand it, but we had a driver, translator with us. And after I'd kind of knelt down and tried to speak to the little boy, I just asked this driver to ask him what he was saying to me. And after about a minute of him talking to me, he got back up and said, he's been missing, this boy. He was swept away by the wave. He hasn't seen his family. He's been living on puddle water and picking off dry noodles that were on the water somewhere to eat. And so we had with us a commando, an ex-commando, ex-Marine Army guy. And he was looking at him. He says he is really badly dehydrated. He had lesions on his skin, clearly being bitten by mosquitoes, and looked unwell. And so he said, "We've got to get this guy into the car." So that was the first meeting. We're on the sand. He pulls up my trouser leg. I have a little chat with him. Don't know what he's saying, and the driver tells me that this young lad's been missing. As we calculated, I think I said in my report 19 days because I miscounted. But 21 days he'd been missing. Yeah. And we just knew that we had to get him to safety.
Di waktu itu ketika saya terhantam oleh ombak, saya juga kehilangan keluarga semuanya, dan kemudian saya tidak sadarkan diri, dan saya mendengar sebuah rumah yang terhantam oleh ombak tsunami. Di saat itu saya tenggelam dan tiba-tiba saya sudah ada di atas kasur. Dan kasur itu tenggelam, tiba-tiba saya sudah ada di atas kasur yang lain. Kemudian di kasur yang lain itu saya berusaha untuk naik ke bangku sekolah. Kemudian bangku sekolah juga tenggelam. Akhirnya saya saya ambil sebuah buah kelapa yang kering itu, terus saya peluk seperti saya peluk bola. Dan akhirnya saya juga berusaha untuk naik ke atas kasur yang lain, dan kemudian kasur itu juga tenggelam. Tiba-tiba saya sudah ada di atas pohon yang besar hingga terbawa ke arah laut. Ketika saya tenggelam, itu masih di pagi hari itu, saya tenggelam. Tiba-tiba saya sadarnya itu pas pagi subuh, saya sadar. Terus saya juga melihat tiba-tiba saya sudah ada di atas pohon yang besar. Kemudian di pagi harinya saya sadar 100% saya sadar, tiba-tiba sudah ada di springbed yang besar. Dan kemudian saya melihat tidak ada seorang pun yang hidup di dunia ini, dan saya hanya banyak melihat mayat di sekeliling saya. Dan akhirnya saya mencoba untuk bunuh diri di waktu itu. Ketika saya pecahkan botol, saya melihat ke arah jembatan, ternyata masih ada orang yang masih hidup. Jadi akhirnya saya membatalkan untuk bunuh diri. Saya di rawa mangrove itu dekat pantai selama 21 hari. Saya berusaha untuk mencari makan. Kadang-kadang saya menemukan biskuit dan juga ada beberapa makanan yang lain seperti mie instan, ada air mineral, dan juga ada beberapa minuman yang lain. Jadi ketika di hari ke-17 atau 18 hingga 19 dan juga 20 saya tidak mempunyai makanan yang lain. Akhirnya saya terpaksa harus minum air hujan dan saya juga sudah berusaha untuk mencari makan, bagaimana saya bisa bertahan hidup.
I wasn't a foreign correspondent. I was just asked to go and help with the coverage over there. And I wasn't actually at that stage very used to traveling abroad. And I was leaving at home a 5-year-old child of my own and a 2-year-old child of my own, Charlie and Josie, my children. And when I looked down at this little boy, after what the horror that he'd been through and the horror that he was beginning to describe to us, you know, I just thought about my children. And from going out to tell a story about the kind of wider issues that there were at the time, suddenly my focus was just totally on this little boy. And so were the attentions of my cameraman, a lovely guy, Phil, and the other people with us, just totally on this little boy that needed our help. And you immediately go into this, you know, father situation. All of us were fathers. And we just thought we've got to get this little boy to help. But of course, the other bit of it is, as you will know, the kind of journalist bit of you thinking, yeah, but we could track this, and we could see what happens. And I know that I think it was the previous day we had actually been in to Save the Children, and they'd showed us what they call their family tracking system. So they had stuff all over the walls, they had pictures up. I remember bits of string. They will have had that backed up by computer as well, of course, and it would be far more advanced now, I would suspect. But they had set up this tracking system, and we remembered that and thought, well, you know, maybe we can track down his family. So of course the journalist bit of you is thinking that's exciting, but actually the main part of it was just here's a little boy, and a 7-year-old boy, and we need to make sure that we help him. We got him to these people who were helping him. The doctors and the medics and people like that were extraordinary. But I didn't really expect ever that as quickly as it happened, his father would appear. You know, you're basically looking at an orphan, and you're thinking, you know, what chance? I mean, there was something like 250,000 people carried away by that wave and never seen again. You know, what chance really? As good as the work that Save the Children were doing there and always do, you know, what chance really have they got of reuniting with a parent or a sibling that quickly? But it was miraculous how quickly it happened. So within a very, very short time indeed, his grandmother or great grandmother, I'm not sure which, actually was there, and his father was there touching his head. And I just remember seeing the hand touch the child, and as a parent, you know, you can't imagine the emotions that those two people are going through. You know, he probably had given up hope. He'd probably given up all hope of ever seeing his son again, and the son had probably given up all hope of seeing the father again. But that, you know, I'll carry that image forever. And I know that the cameraman that was with me, you know, he messages me now and again, and he talks about the emotions that he felt at the same time as well. Just extraordinary, really. And you know, it's bittersweet, isn't it? Because it's tinged with sadness because he lost his mother, he lost his sisters, but there was at least something. There was at least something very strong to hold on to, that the two were together at that moment. So seeing that was just extraordinary, yes.